yeah. Ball in my court, high step is a layup. My life like a movie, just keep moving, it's a trailer. Chefing in my kitchen, got me trying to get my cake up. I thank God for all this coming to me, not straight up.
What's up, Ash?
What's up?
How you been?
Busy, working, you know? What about you?
Busy, working. I do more of this when I'm working, but you know, my work's a little bit different than you. So I'm basically doing what we're doing all the time, though.
Exactly, man. So you shouldn't lose any arguments, but you still do.
I feel like I'm undefeated. That's crazy. We're even arguing about my record.
No, definitely not, bro.
Definitely. Yo, they were saying we sold our soul in the comment section. That we're doing it for the clicks, the fame. He said we're doing it for the fame.
First of all, it's like I was so shocked by that. Like, bro, my take was Kobe Bryant, arguably one of the most skilled basketball players to ever touch a basketball, was more skilled than another very, very high skilled basketball player. And he said I sold my soul for that. It's one thing if I was like, oh, PJ Tucker's more skilled than Kyrie. Okay, that's a ridiculous hot take.
I think he was talking about both of us, by the way.
Kobe Bryant, bro. Kobe. Like, we not talking about no bum, no scrub. We're talking about Kobe.
Yeah, and then another guy was like, delete the pod. They think they're smarter than LeBron.
Oh, so it said that?
Yeah. Because I was talking about the context with the 2-for-1. I never said LeBron wasn't a very smart basketball guy or anything like that.
Yeah, one thing I realized, man, is that no matter what you do or say, there are people that get pleasure out of trying to make somebody else's life miserable. Like that's their like they're not like objectively trying to do that. But like it feels good to talk shit to somebody that they don't know online. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're just gonna say whatever. Like no matter what you post, you have anything that has a stark opinion about it. Even if you say, "Man, it's a sunny day today, man. It's a beautiful day." Someone's like, "Man, it's been raining all fucking week though. It's fucking, you know, like oh, it's raining over here." Like someone's just gonna say something negative about something, and people have to let that negative energy out. So. You know, I just try to pay it no mind anymore, man. It's just.
But wouldn't it be insane of us to think that wouldn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, it means like, it really means that like, you know, we're saying something of value. Like, It's just like at the end of the day, engagement, right? I'm not saying we're doing it for clicks, but like, if you like, there aren't a significant amount of podcasts out there that are just giving you straight, unfiltered, you know, just like non-opinionated stuff, just like raw basketball content. And if they are, they're probably not doing well. They're probably boring. They're probably not getting much engagement because like at the end of the day, like people aren't coming. Like there's 1 million people talking about basketball. 1 million people, probably more than that. People aren't coming to hear like any old random person's comments on basketball. They want to hear something specific so that they can say something to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they don't want you to be neutral. They want, like, we are all competitors, right? Even the fans that don't play basketball, you want to compete. When someone says, "This is my opinion," and you go, "Fuck that, this is my opinion," there's competition in there. There's jousting in there. You know what I mean? When we go back and forth, right? A lot of it is like, oh, this is my opinion, this is your opinion, but there's a lot of it that is rooted in our competitive fervor. We're athletes. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be right. You want to be right. Right? So,
yeah.
Like, that's what it comes down
to. I want to be right, and I want to tell you about it.
Yeah. That's what you want to do. You know? So,
but it was funny, like that wasn't contrived. Like that's how you felt. And my side of the argument wasn't even displayed there. But it's funny. Like I don't understand how that's selling your soul for clicks when you're just saying. I guess he felt like you didn't believe that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it's just that's why I'm just like so shocked by it. Like, bro, it's Kobe. It's not PJ Tucker. It's not like Manute Bol. It's not
That's what
like
you said.
some random play. It's Kobe.
Yeah.
For me to say Kobe is more skilled than Kyrie is not. That is not an outlandish take, bro. Like maybe it's slightly unpopular, but dog, it's Kobe.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Now,
like
there was
if I said Jordan, people would go, "Oh my God, Jordan."
I will give you an unpopular take that's not mine, though. Nikola Jokic, the worst MVP
In 40 years.
in the last 40 years. The guy is coming off a championship season, an MVP season. He's currently averaging 26.4, 12.3, 9.0 on 57% field goal percentage. He's the best passer in the NBA. In my opinion, clearly the best player in the NBA. I don't know. Also, Steve Nash was an MVP. I think Jokic, he was a multi-time MVP. I think Jokic is clearly better than Steve Nash. Not to pick on Steve Nash. Steve Nash was great. But I don't see how anybody could take that take seriously.
Okay, so I kind of understand what he's saying. And I think, like, I don't believe him, but I understand what he's saying, right? And I think if he had really thought about it, he would have probably said the same thing about Steve Nash, who he considers a European player as well, to which, you know,
Well, Canada's not Europe, but
yeah, but he considers him a European player. That's why.
Okay.
You know, he probably would have said the same thing, right? So I think the problem, what Gil is trying to say, is that there was a criteria that established MVPs in the past.
Yeah.
And that criteria was not met when it comes to Nikola Jokic. But here's the thing. Let me finish, right? Like, this is a thing that people in our generation do, right? We base what we experienced, right? And we use that to define current day situations, right? So, like, in the past, it was the best player on the best team, right? That's just how it worked for the most part.
You know what I mean? It's a bad way of going about things.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that was the criteria. So
Yeah.
that Gil is going off of that. You know what I mean? So Jokic wasn't that. But we now live in the era of analytics. So we talk about like even though Jokic's numbers didn't blow anybody away, they were great numbers, right? But they weren't like, you know, MVP, like, you know, Kobe's MVP year 34, you know, all these crazy numbers, big crazy years, teams winning 68 games, whatever, right? Jokic wasn't that. It's 5 seed one year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tatum's the best player on the best team right now, and he's clearly not the best player in the NBA and not the MVP.
I agree. So because of that, that's what I think he's using as a metric. But like things have changed. Like the way we analyze basketball is so different now because of analytics. People talking about Jokic might, you know, because of his PR and his offensive rating and all this other stuff, like he might be the greatest offensive player ever. Back in the day when it was mainly the eye test and what the numbers on the books were, if Jokic was doing the exact same thing in 2003, nobody would be saying this is the greatest offensive player ever. You know what I mean? But because we have a whole new level and layer of looking at tracking numbers, how people are actually affecting the game, like that plays a part in MVP discussion now these days. And I think Gil is not understanding that component because, like, if we had those numbers back in the day, somebody like maybe Arvydas Sabonis' career could be completely different. Like,
well, he was also an older rookie, and he was.
I understand, but like how he affected the game was incredible.
It was.
You know what I mean? Like he was so.
And we didn't get to see him in the NBA in his prime either.
I know, he was so effective. You know what I mean? So we might not know how good he really is. If, you know, we probably don't know how good he really is if we don't have those same counting numbers, because the things that he does, I mean, Jokic does, Arvydas Sabonis was doing in the 90s. You know what I mean? As an old man with no knees. So, like, that is what I think Gil's trying to say. I still think he's wrong about it, but I understand what he's trying to say. But you have to think about Gil as like, bro, this is a new day. Like, things are different. You know what I mean? Like so much of basketball is mathematical now. Like people are like
I mean,
they're
but
bringing.
eye test wise, he's clearly the best player in the NBA right now. So you could talk about all of that, but watch the game too. Like if you just watch what he did in the playoffs and in the finals, you won't. Another thing is that if you watch that, you clearly know he's the best player in the NBA. And if you just have the take that I believe Gil probably has as well, that every generation gets better, it's hard to say any MVP is the worst in the last 40 years before that, you know?
I still don't believe every generation gets better. I'll give you every generation becomes more skilled, but I don't believe that every generation gets better. I think that whatever you learn from the previous generation, there's a drop off in a certain area. You know what I mean? Like I think these players are more entitled, so that's probably why there's less effort in defense. There's less, competitive fervor. There's, yes, they're more skilled, but like people don't. I feel like people don't. The game is so much more individual. They don't involve their teammates in a
the best
collaborative way. You
like
know what I mean?
Like the Nuggets do, right?
Yeah, the Nuggets do, and that's why they won a championship. You know what I mean?
And they have the best player.
Yeah, but like also it's because of what he did mentally.
Yeah,
is what made them win the championship. I think a lot of times, especially people like Gil, they look at like, what do you do? What do I do versus you? Like in terms of like, what can you do better than me or whatever? Not how you affect the game.
It's a bad way of looking at things.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that's how a lot of people, that's how a lot of young people look at the game as well too. That's why so many people are like, damn, Paul George is the best player in the game. You know what I mean? Like he's a winning player. I'm not saying that, but people overrate him, and like he doesn't impact the game the way so many other players can fully impact the game. You know what I mean? But he looks good doing it. I'll tell you that. So many people go, well, Paul George got a bag. Look, he got a crazier bag than Luke than Jokic. So people see that. Like I think today's age, because there's so much based off of visual medium, like the eye test, I think, skews so much of how we perceive people. You know? Like, we can even segue into, what's his name? Zach
Edey?
His eye test is looking whack. I think he's
dropping 40 in March.
His eye test is looking whack. Like the dude did like last year he was a National Player of the Year, and they predicted that he was going to be a second round.
I think he's a very good basketball player. I don't know how his game translates to the NBA on either side of the floor.
Here's the thing. I think one of the bigger issues is the NBA is a stylistic game now.
100%. Look,
it's way more stylistic than it used to be.
Either you're a star or you fit an NBA niche, and I don't think teams are going out their way to get Zach Edey post touches in the modern game.
Yeah, but I honestly think that it's a product of microwave coaching, right? Like so many coaches are on such short leashes that that's why so much of the NBA is a copycat league, because this coach is like, well, I can't fuck it up. I can't invest in something unique, specific. Like I think that there's so many players that don't fit the current NBA mold, but like you could build around them where they could be successful. I don't know if, you might not win a championship, but you might fall into a championship, might build a culture, but like nobody gets a chance. Like a guy like Timothy Mozgov, who's really good, right? Like that's like, I guess someone I can compare Edey to, like was really good at a certain point, and then the entire NBA changed under his feet. He got this massive contract and nobody played him anymore, because they were like, well, his game affects so much of the rest of the other team's game, doesn't let this person go off or whatever.
It takes away from flow of the game. And certain players are like that.
But it's only if you're playing a specific way. And I think so many people go, well, that way can't win, so I'm not going to play that way.
100%. But that player has to be so transcendent, or the personnel on your team has to be so transcendent to totally change the trend.
Well, here's the thing. The problem is nobody gets an opportunity to become transcendent if you only are looking at it from a specific way. You know what I mean? Like if you have a mold of what you're trying to create, they're going to let these guys fucking try to develop for 7-8 years. You know what I mean? 6-7 years. Like, this is an archetype that I like. I'll wait till he's going to hit his peak at 25, 26. You let him go through. Someone like Zach Edey, right? Like, he might get a year leash. You know what I mean? Because you're already not looking at that as your mold. You know, I'm not saying this guy's going to be it, but I'm saying a guy like him doesn't even get a shot. You know what I mean? Because the NBA already has an idea of what they want and what is the winning way, and he doesn't fit that, you know?
I think you could play him situationally, like to throw a body at Embiid or a Jokic, but he doesn't space. He's not the fastest.
But you're not
he
letting
can't
him
guard.
develop. You're only talking about him as a fucking as a finished product.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's what I'm talking about. Like a guy like Brook Lopez, right, who revamped his career.
Yeah. He didn't even shoot any threes in the beginning.
No one even gave, he was about to be out the league, essentially. You know what I mean?
He was like the Nets' go-to at one point, though, even before
Exactly, because the Nets gave him a shot.
Yeah.
But before that, he was bouncing around because people were like, oh, this isn't the mindset. This isn't the archetype of what the NBA is now. And somebody goes, you know what? This guy has a skill set. Let's figure out, the problem is that there's so few, even a guy like Julius Randle, perfect example. He had no choice. They had no choice but to work with him. But if Julius Randle goes to another team and not the Knicks, he doesn't get that opportunity. No one knows that he could be a 24 and 12 guy. You know what I mean? The thing about it is, like, we have this ideology of what we need to do to win, and nobody gets no coaches get a shot to be like, I want to create a whole new philosophy that I think. Like, back in the day, I think coaches got more of those opportunities. Nowadays, you like. Adrian Griffin, you 30 and 13, you gone.
I mean,
gone.
People have tried outlandish things. Like, if you look at during the bubble era, the Rockets, they went micro ball, 5 out.
I understand, but like trying something in 3 months, 4 months is not really trying something. You know what I mean? Like Rick Adelman.
Well, if they tried that for 7 months, you think it would work?
I don't know.
Sorry, 7 years.
But Rick Adelman, was working on that shit that he was doing with Chris Webber, Vlade, and Mike Bibby for years before that, and wasn't successful. But once he finally got the personnel, because he was trying to do that with Jason Williams.
Yeah.
Jason Williams.
Mike Brown, same thing.
Yeah.
He tried it with Cleveland.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he got a leash to be able to experiment, to work with people, turn Webber into a passer. You know what I mean? A completely different player. Like, I just don't think that's why I think he's not going to be successful. And I'm not saying this is the guy. Like, he might be everything.
I agree with you. There is going to be a guy that changes the trend, but I don't think it's him.
I don't know if it's him. You know, but he won't even get a shot. That's the bigger issue.
We'll see.
No, like you're like, the thing is that even if a coach wanted to give him a shot, it's got to be like a Pop, a guy who has like a Spoelstra who can do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, every other coach basically is on a 2-3 year leash, maybe.
I mean, Nick Nurse has very outside the box thinking, and he's lasted. He didn't have that leash in the beginning.
Got fired.
No, he's back in the league though. I mean, he established, won a championship that way. You know,
like even if you go to another team,
everybody gets fired. You get
no one.
NBA head coach. Everybody's getting fired.
Pop hasn't gotten fired.
I'm saying, you know what I mean.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. Like that's what I mean though. Even if you aren't gonna get fired, right? The pressure of getting fired makes you conform to the easiest way to find success. You know what I mean?
People, yeah.
So that's my big thing. You know, like I just don't think a guy I look at him and I'm like, bro, he is legit 270, 80 pounds. Like, dog, who is he going up against? Chet, Wemby. You know what I mean? Like, who? Like, he's 7'4", 300 pounds, and he's strong lower body. You know what I mean? Like literally, like, probably, maybe not Steven Adams, but right around there, but with way better footwork ability. And then on top of it, dude started playing basketball at 16, so he's got so much more growth to happen.
Yeah,
you know. But he'll probably never get that shot because right now he's not the archetype of what the NBA is. And, like, you know, no coach is going to take a chance on trying to build with this guy, you know, if I only have a 2-3 year potential window as a coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough. NBA job. That's why coaches love college. Because you can stay there for a lot longer. You can build out a program. You can find an identity. You can get a specific type of
It's crazy
core
now.
culture.
College is crazy now with the transfer portal.
Well, the transfer portal
Yeah.
makes it tougher, but
Yeah.
like you still can create a culture and identity a lot easier in college than you do in the NBA. Like, I mean, Doc, bro, if there was 30 more games left in the NBA, Doc would be fired probably. It's crazy.
Well,
If there was 30 more games, but they're like, damn, we got to go with Doc.
Well, they already fired somebody. It's hard to fire
Exactly.
two coaches.
But if there was 30 more games, they would fire him.
It's not his fault. I don't think it's Doc's fault, just like it wasn't Griffin's fault.
I agree.
Yeah.
But like the problem is like you got to save face now. You have to. You had like so many. This is like just like outside of basketball in life. We live in a world where it's so easy to push the delete button or the cancel button. That's just what people do. That's why divorce rate is so high. You know what I mean? People are just like, yo, let's just start all over. Let's just delete it. You know what I mean? Let's just, let's start fresh. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what we on right now.
How'd you feel about Rex Chapman going right at Jordan, the most feared NBA player in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan? And I give you, he's top 2 all time, but like, damn, Rex was going right at him and talking crazy.
So this is the problem with media these days, right? This is the big issue with media, right? We see a soundbite, we see a clip, we hear some hip hop behind it, and we get hyped up, and we go, "That's what it is." That's not what it was, bro. Like I know I was a huge Rex Chapman fan, first of all, right? So I know Rex Chapman pretty well, right? I know this.
He's a good media guy too,
Oh,
actually.
he's great. You know, he's turned his whole life around. Like, you know, he was an addict for a really long time. He was a drug addict, right? I think he got to the point where he was doing pills and heroin. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But huge Rex Chapman fan back in the day. So I know this particular game. I know the details of it all, right? I've heard him talk about it, right? But the media is going to put out something and you're going to run with it too. Everyone ran with it. So what actually happened, right, is that Rex knew for a fact. Rex and Jordan were really good friends, actually, because they had the same agent, right? So when
David Falk.
Yeah. So when Rex came into the league, he worked out with Jordan for a while because, you know, they connected through the agents and stuff. So they became friends and stuff. They used to gamble all the time, all this stuff, right? So Rex knew that Jordan hate chasing screens. Just knew, like, you know, Jordan on ball, incredible defender. Doesn't like chasing screens. So Rex was going crazy off those screens. And that's how, and Rex, you know, had a hot day. He got off, right? That clip where you see him talking shit to Jordan, what everyone's saying he's talking shit to Jordan, right? What actually happened is that Jordan went up to dunk it. There was a rule, you don't let Jordan dunk. And he pushed Jordan in the air. And Jordan got upset, and Rex turned around and goes, "You know I can't let you dunk it." Rex even said that in an interview. He said that in several interviews. That is what Rex is actually saying. He's not talking shit, but people show the threes hit, then they show that, and they go, "Oh, Rex is talking shit. He going crazy on Jordan." And then Rex had 39 that game. Jordan had 31, and Rex the Heat won, right? Rex had 39. Jordan had 31. They played, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks later, right? In Miami, Jordan goes off for 40. Rex gets shut down to 12 because he took it personal, obviously. And then they played in the NBA Finals that year. Jordan swept them and took over and then won a championship.
I think, though, the fear thing is overrated. Like, everybody feared Michael Jordan, and it's not even about Michael Jordan. I just don't think hoopers literally fear other hoopers.
No. That's absolutely. I completely disagree.
I don't care how good a basketball player is. Like, they're not going to kill me with a jump shot, right?
Yeah.
So what am I fearing?
Okay, so you can speak for yourself.
Yes.
But you can't speak for other people. People fear, first of all, embarrassment. That was the number one thing that people feared from Michael Jordan, being embarrassed.
Maybe I didn't play enough defense to get embarrassed.
Okay, maybe. But like that is the number one thing that often people would talk about Jordan. Players, kid, even Rex, like he's just like, you just didn't want to be embarrassed. You didn't want to get dunked on. It was on Sports Center. It was a whole different thing. And then it's magnified to 1,000,000 times now because every clip you can see anyone getting crossed now. Anyone in any gym in the country. So that is one level of fear.
They fear the embarrassment of that clip. They don't fear the actual person while they're playing against them, if that makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, like, a human is a human. You don't fear him like an animal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
if somebody's chasing you with a gun, you fear them.
Absolutely,
that's real fear.
But like, do you fear that person or do you fear death? Because now it's semantics. You know what I mean? Like if that person didn't have a gun, would you fear them? You know what I mean? Like, so like
fair.
You know,
but like, I just feel like that's real fear.
I understand, but like, no, people get afraid all the time. Like everyone, I've been afraid.
Of another basketball player?
Absolutely. That doesn't mean I'm gonna perform.
Besides me.
Stop, please. Man, I never feared you, bro.
Go ahead, keep going.
But I'm saying like I remember the first time I played against Monty Mack. I don't know if you remember who Monty Mack was. Incredible player, played at UMass Amherst. Put up 2,000 plus points. Like, if he was a little bit taller, he'd probably be in the NBA. Probably would have had a 10-year NBA career, but you know what it is. Great Division I player. First time I ever played against a dude that was like NBA bound. Like I think he even was on some practice squads and stuff like that. Like, summer league, NBA teams. First time I stepped in, like, of course I was fucking feared of him. Like, I was nervous. This dude is fucking nasty. In my mind, that was the first real, I was in high school at the time. First real dude that was like nasty. I watched on TV, I played against him. Of course I was afraid of him, right? But I play well in fear. Like I focus more. Doesn't mean I'm not afraid of people.
Oh, I mean that's
but
that's evolutionary psychology.
But there's a lot of people that aren't like that.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, this is one thing I notice, right? People become afraid of me, right? Like, here's the thing, right? I notice when I get hot, dudes start playing less defense. That's fear. You get to a point where, he's hot. There's nothing.
That's hopelessness.
I understand. It's also fear.
Like, I think Luka Doncic took the hearts of the Suns. I don't think Devin Booker or Kevin Durant fear Luka Doncic.
I understand, but if you start to perform less because of like a certain element of someone else is raising their game, I think there's a level of fear there. Like you might not fear that person, right? But you fear the moment, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's more hopelessness. Like,
dog, I like. Here's the thing: all of these motherfuckers that who you better than who you? They always say themselves, "Oh, I'm the best. I'm number one."
Right.
Where is it at that point? You can't be hopeless at that point, right? Because me, I truly, I don't think I've ever in my entire life, no matter what the circumstance was, ever hopeless in a game. I'm the type of person, I could be down by 30 and I'm like, all right, cool. I got to hit
30 seconds left?
Dog, I'm trying to still score.
I'm not saying you're not, but you think you could win 30 seconds left down 30?
Obviously at that point, but I'm still, here's the thing. At that point, obviously I know I can't do anything, but I still play like I can do something. You know what I mean? Because like I understand psychologically how your mindset shifts when you go, there's no point. Like that's a bigger loss than the actual game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, so you saying hopelessness, like I don't understand that. I never got to that point. You know what I mean?
I made it in the sense of that when I saw the Suns and Mavs play, it looked like the Suns were hopeless when Luka went at them.
But I
You know what
personally think it's a fear thing.
Okay.
You get to a point where you're like, man, because dog, like, even if a dude is cooking, right? Why can't you cook him? Luka don't play no fucking defense.
Yeah, I agree.
But once you get to a point where you
agree.
go, oh man, this dude's so good that now my offensive game is crippled.
I've talked about this.
That's fear, and that's what a lot of people talk about when they talk about the fear of Michael Jordan.
I don't bring up my own basketball experiences too often, but let me bring one up here. I was playing Rucker Park, right? They literally posted me up every single time. And that pissed me off. Now, he was cooking me. But at the same time, there was no fear. And I started going at them and talking crazy shit. And he continued to keep scoring on me. But maybe I didn't have a chance in the post against him. But I also had no fear. Because I knew no matter what he did wasn't going to hurt me in life. Like, you know what I mean? In the scheme of things.
But you cannot use your unique perspective and blanket that for everybody else, because most people, I think, in that situation would back down and they wouldn't go at people because they're now embarrassed. The crowd's yelling at them. The mic, mic's probably like, "Oh, white boy getting cooked, man. Oh, goddamn, look at him."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But if you don't have that,
that you start like maybe you don't feel it, but most people start feeling like that buzz in their chest. You know, that's the fear. That's when you feel that. I don't know if it's an anxiety feeling. There's a physical feeling in your chest, like butterflies. Like when you walk into, I don't know if you ever played. Like we played in the Boston Garden championship game, high school, right? Butterflies. That feeling.
Yeah.
People get that sometimes once an opponent starts cooking them. And now it's like my palms are sweaty. I'm missing just like clutch situation, missing free throws.
Yeah.
People get that when an opponent starts cooking them. You know what I mean? So that is the fear tactic that people mean when they talk about Jordan. And that is what people feared often.
One time I was playing in a tournament. I was young. Marble Hill. Guy said if I make the free throw, he's going to break my legs. Now, that was a situation where I probably felt some fear. But I made the free throws, but that was real fear.
Yeah. So what it feels, here's the thing, man. What I think one thing that we have a disconnect with is like I feel the game in such an emotional way, right? So I utilize that with a lot of my analysis. I think you think about it more in a physical place, right? So like there's an emotional fear. Like every single example of fear that you've brought up has all been physical. Someone coming to shoot you, someone coming to break your legs.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about an emotional fear. Michael Jordan's not going to beat up anybody. Nobody was afraid of Michael Jordan's prowess as an attacker.
Right.
They're afraid of
Charles Oakley, maybe.
Yeah, they're afraid of the embarrassment element, the fear. Like that's the fear.
So it wasn't actually the fear of Mike. It was the fear of the public seeing them get cooked.
Yeah, but Mike was the conduit of that. So it was Mike. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not like you're getting cooked by John Starks. You know what I mean? Nobody's afraid of John Starks cooking you. They're afraid about Michael putting up 50 on you.
Somebody might have been afraid of John Starks. You never know.
I mean, John Starks had, he had his days, but nobody was out there being like, man, I got John Starks tonight, man. I got it,
Let's end with this, though, man. Draymond got ejected. They're playing better now, though, and Steph Curry starts to cry. I feel like
another media thing, man. Did you see tears coming out of his eyes?
It looked like he was crying.
Okay, well, but it looked like it was. Do you truly think that the guy was crying?
Yeah. We could pull up the video. We could do B-roll for this. Add some B-roll. You're a filmmaker. Add some B-roll, man. Show him what he was doing.
I was not crying, man. I definitely believe he was in distraught, but
he was distraught. Why? Because I feel like he wants to be the greatest, and Draymond could be in his way of getting 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that the reason he, I think here's the thing, man. Right? Draymond has a problem. Yeah, I think his problem is that he has no self-control. And I'm saying it for somebody who struggles with it myself on a basketball court. Like off the court, I have incredible self-control. Like I can de-escalate things. I can, for the most part, but when I get into a competitive medium, a sport, especially basketball, I walk into it always, especially when I play pickup, I walk into it always thinking, man, I'm just going to take it easy. It's just pickup. No one, it's fine. No matter what, I'm yelling at my teammates. I'm flipping out. I'm getting upset. I'm taking it so personal. That's just who I am. And it really, really was hard for me to turn that shit off. And I think Draymond is the same way. I think he genuinely tells Steph tells his teammates, yo, trust me, man, I'm good. Like, you know, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be on my best behavior. But once he gets in between those lines, he can't stop it. And I think Steph is getting stressed out probably because Dre is saying something to him and then not living up. You know?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think it's the fact that he's got the technicals. You know what I mean? If Dre was like, fuck that, I'm doing it my way. I don't think Steph would be as mad.
He knows he needs him, and I feel like a part of Steph actually wants to. I don't think he could get there personally. I hope for him he does. Like, I think he wants to be the greatest player ever, and he feels like he needs Dre, and Dre's not living up to his end of the bargain with his behavior.
Yeah, I think.
Do you believe that to be true? Do you feel like that there's some truth in that?
I think that like there's a lot of people that just don't understand their effects on everything else. Like they think it's just me. Like, what do you like? This is my problem. Like, why is it gotta affect you? Like, I didn't realize this until later on in my life that like symbolism means everything. You know what I mean? Like so much of success is like how people go into the process, you know? And certain things can break that process and certain things can elevate that process. Like, even though it's one technical, one ejection.
It's a lot
whatever,
of them over time.
No, in that moment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's one ejection in that moment. The bigger scheme, you know what I mean? Like, in the grand scheme of things.
Punching Poole.
It's like
choking Nurkic.
It's like, man, we have no shot. Like you said, right? So you talked about giving up, down by 30, giving up, whatever, right? Like, let's say you're down. Let's say you're going into the fourth quarter. You're down 25, right? The first two shots you shoot in the fourth quarter, right? You airball them both.
Mm-hmm.
What's your overall thought process on the rest of the game at that point? You know, or most people's overall thought process.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, if you make two, you're in more of a rhythm off rip.
It's like,
yeah,
if you make two, or
and also,
the team makes two.
And also, it depends on your team situation, right?
Yeah.
If you have the super green light, it might not matter that much.
Well, not even you, but just your team. Let's just say someone on the team. Your first two shots of the team, y'all like, first, you guys going into the fourth quarter.
It's not a good start.
Going into the fourth quarter, down 25,
yeah.
right? Like, damn, this shit is crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
First two possessions, turnover, air ball.
Yeah.
You know, there's 2-3 guys.
There's teams that it could suck the
2-3
life out of
guys
the
on the team.
Pause.
They're packing it up.
Yeah.
Packing it up. Like, and then once two guys pack it up, this guy that's kind of on the fence, he's gonna pack it up. You know what I mean? Then there's always one guy that's going to play hard no matter what, but, like, it can't be enough. Now, same scenario, first two shots, and 1-3, free throw good, steal, fast break dunk. Now, the guys who give up really easily, now they're charged up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's so much that plays into every single part of the game, right? Psychologically. So, you know, things are getting good. Steph is, you know, like they're picking up, even though they're still the 10th seed right now,
Mm-hmm.
but like they're just getting in the rhythm. Andrew Wiggins been getting them some good games. He won that game for them.
Mm-hmm.
That Draymond got ejected. Andrew Wiggins played great. He's getting better. Clay's all right. You know what I mean? Like, so
Kuminga.
It's like Kuminga's playing well. So they're like, okay, we're getting a rhythm. This is a step back. You know what I mean? And that's what Steph is really disappointed by. Because, you know, they're playing so many young players, right? Now, right?
Pods, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Moody.
yeah, Moody, Kuminga, Pods. They're playing so many young
Trice.
players. And Trice.
Yeah,
and a
Jackson
lot of
Davis.
these young players, they're the ones that can get influenced so much
Yeah.
by a swing of a play. You know what I mean? A swing of an ejection.
I mean, I think with experience, it's always next play. If that play is good, next play. If that play is bad, next play. And I think that's the mentality that you have to have, right?
Yeah.
Over time. I mean, that's what you got to learn. But obviously, momentum plays a part as
but
well.
That's a lot harder for younger people.
100%. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Steph knows that they're playing with a lot of young people. So Draymond got to set an example for the young people. You know what I mean? That's the problem. So yeah,
it is what it is. But good episode, my guy. Subscribe if you're watching. Like it if you're watching. Drop a comment. And don't tell us we sold our soul because we're just speaking our basketball minds. We're out.